Post-dated checks. Any idea what are post-dated checks? Anyone? We write the check for the future date only, and it will be paid in the future date only. So that's a post-dated check. So we issue the check today, as we were saying. Yeah, we are writing means if we are issuing check, but on the check we will print the date as some other day in the future. Suppose I am issuing the check to the vendor on today's date on 20th, let's assume, but the date will be printed on the check as 26th, Friday. Okay, which means like on 26th only the vendor can put the check in bank or deposit the check in bank after on or after 26th only, not before 26th. So I can give such kind of condition in this post dated check. So post dated check is a example wherein you can give the backdated checks dated with a future date, so that if you are giving an indication to the vendor, we don't vendor cannot go and deposit the check in the bank before that particular date that you have printed on the check. So only the later date he can deposit the check in the bank, and he can receive the money from or from the bank. What happens if we deposit the check in the bank before date only, rather than the date that is posted on, printed on the check? If he tries to deposit the check in the bank in the before date, bank will not accept it, saying that it is a post dated check. Please come back on or after that particular date mentioned on the check. Okay, why we give such kind of post dated checks to the vendors? Any idea? So it's a situation where when we don't have any money in the bank now, currently we have to pay 50 lakhs to the vendor, let's assume. So we don't have 50 lakhs amount in the bank. If we give check today with today's date to the vendor, if he deposits the check in the bank, your check will get bounced and there will be a legal suit filed against you. Possibility is there. So you will explain the vendor saying that at this point of time I don't have money in my bank, but after a week I am giving a post dated check. If you deposit after a week, money will be added to your bank, or you will receive some revenue from any other person. So you will definitely receive the revenue from any other person, suppose, and you have enough funds in your bank. So you can then deposit your check and you will receive your amount. So you might not have to explain every story to the vendor, but giving a post-dated check explains that vendor can cash that check or deposit that check in the bank only on that particular date or after that date, not before the date. So in Dynamics also we can issue post-dated checks, and we can post the checks for the later dates with a giving the post-dated check using the post-dated check mechanism. So what's unusual in the post-dated checks is that we have something different in the accounting impacts. So normally when you issue any check, accounts payable account, right? Accounts payable account will get debited and bank account will get credited. So this is normal when we pay any check or post any check. So this is the entry, we all know that. But in case of post dated checks, since we have some time, we cannot directly credit the bank account. See, suppose I can issue a post dated check for a future date of 1 month delay. Okay, I can give the next month's date in the post dated check, so that the check will get matured, or the check will get matured in the next month, or the vendor can deposit the check in the bank and cash the check only in the next month. So until then, I cannot record it as a credit to bank, because I might do bank reconciliations in between on daily basis. So this transaction will always reflect in my books, but it will not reflect in the original bank statement, because check was not deposited yet in the bank. Right. So when I select bank account, I can see that transaction in my bank transactions. I have showed you earlier how check transactions show up in the bank transactions list. But every time when I'm going to do reconciliation, I can see this transaction in the bank transactions all the time, and I have to leave this one since it is not posted into the bank statement yet. But if I don't want it to be affecting my bank transactions or in the reconciliations, I can So we can use a bridging account in between called as PDC account, which will get credited eventually for some time. Post-dated check account. So whenever we post any post-dated check, accounts payable account will get debited and post-dated check account will get credited instead of bank account. Okay, this is how the initial entry will be posted. After few days, when the check is matured, you can clear the post-dated check transaction. Clearing the post-dated check transaction means again the PDC account will get debited and now the bank account will get credited. So these two entries will get while we use the post-dated checks. Upon the date of issuing the post-dated check, we'll get this transaction. Upon the maturity of the check, when we are clearing the post-dated check transactions, then we will get this transaction. PDC account, sorry, not PRC, it's PDC account debited and bank account will get credited. So eventually this one and this one are reversed. So when you can see it, this one and this one, both this effect will be reversed, or the PDC account will become zero finally, and the original entry will remain accounts payable debited and bank account credited. But it takes some time. So it is on the date of issuing the check. This is on the date of maturity of the check. You will get two transactions on separate dates. However, the PDC account will get reversed anyway, and it will become zero, and the original entry will remain. We have to ensure that we'll get this PDC account in place all the time when we are posting post-dated checks, and while clearing, we should get this entry. So I'll show you the process of how to post the post-dated checks and then how we can clear the post-dated checks on the maturity date. So let's see how we can post a post-dated check. For posting a post-dated check, actually, we need another method of payment as PDC. And we also have this some parameters here in the cash and bank management parameters here, cash and bank management. Then set up cash and bank management parameters. Within this, I have a menu called as post-dated checks. In the post-dated checks, I have to enable this one, enable post-dated checks. Yes, enable post-dated checks. Then post journal entries for post-dated checks. Yes, enabled. Then it asks me clearing account for issued checks, clearing account for received checks. See, you have post-dated checks in two ways. When during vendor payments, you can issue post-dated checks. During customer receipts, sometimes customers also issue post-dated checks, right? Which you will take from them and you can only deposit in the bank on the later date or according to the maturity date of the check. So it can be a possibility. So you can create accounts for both the situations. Clearing account for issued checks and received checks. So issued checks means that we issue to the vendors. So I'll just click on view details, which will take me to the main accounts page. I'll give an account here. So I'll give account number. Let me use the same asset account only, PDC. Can use since it is a bridging account for bank transaction, so I can use it as an asset account only. Up to you. But it's a balance sheet account only. You can use it as a balance sheet account also, since it will get debited and created all the time. Anything you can. I'll just select this one as 1000 PDC vendor post-dated check vendors I'm giving. Okay, use it as an asset account. Okay, so I'll use it and click here, copy the same. I'll give it as this one, PDC customer. So I'll give a separate account. I can use the same account or just create it as PDC account. That would also be enough. But if you want to track both of them separately for vendors and customers, you can better use PDC vendors and PDC customers. So I can now go back, give here clearing account for issued checks is PDC vendor account. So I'll give it PDC vendors for issued checks. For received checks means what we receive from customer. So I'll give this as PDC customer account. Perfect. Then we have this one journal entry. So I'll give normal journal entries for clearing entries. So I'll show you what is clearing entries and then transfer posted checks to this vendor payment journal. So select this vendor payment journal that the posted check transactions are recorded in. So this field is available only if you select the posted entries for check option. Normally you have to select the vendor payment journal here, which you regularly use. So select it. Withholding tax clearing account. There are situations when you have withholding taxes, which we will see further in the course actually. Then we can assign withholding tax clearing account. What it does is, so normally withholding tax is withheld on the payment during the payment, right? So that clearing account is used while you reverse the transaction, then only the withholding tax is withheld normally once the payment is completed. So that you can give here if you want to. So I'm just giving these details until now. Then the very important setup that we have to do in the accounts payable module, going to setup, payment setup, we have methods of payment. So in the earlier in the methods of payment, we have created check as the method of payment. Now we will create post-dated check also. So I'll give it as PDC, post-dated check, payment status. I'll give it as sent here. This one I'll just give it as total, anything I can use. Payment type, since it is also a check, I'll give it as check. Then the account type to be used here is bank account. Okay, most of the times I will use my ICICI bank account. So I'll just give ICICI here. This too is compulsory to be given in the method of payment, bank and bank account. Then here I have this option called as bridging posting. So this is also compulsory because you use a bridging account in between. You have to give the bridging posting enabled, and post-dated check clearing posting. This is also enabled. Both of these parameters has to be enabled. And bridging account, it automatically took the PDC vendor account from the cash and bank management parameters here, bridging account. So this is the bridging account, right, which is connecting account here and here. So this is the account that it is taking here, bridging account. So this will be acting as a alias account for the bank for some time until the check get matured, and once after check get matured, it will get reversed. So you can give the bank transaction type here. Bank transaction type is PDC. Here I have 11 PDC. Bank transaction type, I selected it. So that's up, and I can give the export format. Export format for this also check only, because this is also check only, right? So I can give the export format as check. So that would be all for now. I mean, in this check, post-dated check. So the major things that you have to configure are this one. Bank account should be account type should be bank. Bank account should be taken compulsorily. Bridging posting should be enabled. Post-dated check clearing posting should be enabled. Bridging account should be considered as PDC. PDC vendor, because this is on the side of vendor, right? Method of payment vendors. So that is why. So I'll save it now. And this method, this one also export format has to be taken as check actually in the next menu. Now if I go to, so now I can use this PDC and post a post-dated check. So let's see how we can post a post-dated check. Again, for generation of post-dated check, I have to go to same payment journal only. Go to payment journal, create a new payment journal, select vendor payment, go to lines, the same process. Select the vendor. So debit the vendor for $1,500. Then select the bank accounts, bank, select the same ICICI bank account. Yes. Okay. Method of payment here. So, so no need to select the bank account actually. If you select method of payment, automatically the account will appear here for the PDC since we have a bridging account. See, suppose if I select PDC, automatically I see this as offset account, that PDC vendor account. So it will defaultly change. So directly select method of payment as PDC and it will automatically update the offset account. So instead of bank account, for the time being, it will use this account as post-dated check vendor account. Okay, and I can save this. Then I can generate payments. Check. Export format is also check. Bank. I can select the ICICI Bank here. Click on OK. Check number 103 will be in place. Yes, it is. Go to document. Select screen. Generate the check. So it's not generating. We have missed something. I know what we have missed. See, we gave PDC here, method of payment as post-dated check. We need to give this one the maturity date of the check we can give here actually. So normally we are issuing post-dated check, right? On 19th we are issuing. So post-dated check you can issue for any future date. So the future date you can give here as the maturity date of the check. So you can give something like 30th. So the check will get matured on 30th. You can give it as so. Other than this, what else we have missed? Mm, Remittance is not required. This is how we have the post-dated check details, and what else is missed in PDC? And bridging, okay. Clearing account, okay. Format, okay. Cash and bank management parameters. Allow checks for bank or ledger accounts. Okay, since we are using PDC, I'll just allow this one as well for ledger or bank accounts. Okay. Other than this, I think this should be the one. Let me again go back to accounts payable, payment journal. So this one that we are using, post-dated check. Tata $1,500 PDC. Okay. Go to generate payments once again. Select OK. Then select screen. OK. OK. Again, it's not printing. Something missing. What else we have missed? It's not required, right? Not sure if this is the cause. Should not be the remittance address as well. Yes. Okay. And when payment, method of payment, PDC selected. Nothing else has to be done. Okay. Save it. Then go for generate payments again. Click on OK. document screen. Okay, okay. Still, it's not printing. There should be some step that we have missed. Let's come from the starting again. So cash and bank management, parameters, post-dated checks, clearing accounts given. Okay, enable post-dated checks, post journal entries. Okay, journal vendor payment. Okay. Then in the general, hello checks. Okay. Review process form. These are not required. And then go to accounts payable. Method of payment. PDC. Post-dated check. Okay. Bank. ICICI. Bridging posting. Post-dated check clearing posting. Bridging account bank transaction type. This one is check. Okay. Export format as check. Nothing else is mandatory. Saved it. Then go to. Give me a second. Let me just compare to the other company and see if it is we missed anything. PDC, method of payment, invoice, sent bank account bridging. Yes, okay, transaction type. Okay, okay. Check. Okay. All seems to be okay except this one. This should be invoice, but that's okay. That total or invoice, anything will work for it. And 1 second. Patient bank management parameters. Yellow checks. Okay. Checks, yes. Okay, we have given all of them. Lines. Post-dated check. Check number should be automatically generated anyway. And bank payment reference PDC1, just reference. Let's try it once again. Generate payments. Click on OK. Check number OK. Screen OK. Okay. No, it's not generating anyway. Let me try it in this company MRF. Okay, where we go into accounts payable. Say payment journal, create a new journal in this company as vendor payment journal. The same way, go to lines. Here I will see a bunch of vendors. So I have 4 of them: Tata Motors, Maruti Suzuki, Sahara and all. So I'll select one as Tata Motors again here. So I'll give a debit amount of something like 1500 once again. Oh, this vendor is having withholding tax actually. So let me change this vendor to another vendor. Okay, let me select this Maruti Suzuki. So now I'll just remove this amount and give this 1500 once again. Okay. Then I'll select the method of payment as PDC. So here automatically the offset account will be filled up with the PDC account or the bridging account that we gave in the PDC. And what else we have here? I think in the post-dated checks I can give the maturity date to 30th of November. So I can give the payment reference actually. Payment reference, I'll give something 1 2 3 4 5 6. Then can save it. Generate payments. Check on ICICI Bank. Click on OK. Check number 111. Okay. Document print on screen. Okay. Okay. Well, it's printing here, but not in our company. See how the check is printed. When I open the check, you can see the date on the check is November 30. This is what we call the post date. So some future date is printed on the check. Now this check is valid only from November 30 or later date of November 30. Before that, we cannot, vendor cannot cash this check. So that's what it indicates, a post-dated check. So suppose if I go back here and post this entry, see check is generated, I can see check number here and check status is sent. So if I do that and if I post it, so I can see this is posted. Now if I go and see the voucher here, as you can see voucher. So accounts payable account is getting debited for 1500 and PDC vendor account is getting credited for 1500. So instead of bank account, it uses this PDC vendor account for the time being 1500 and 1500. So let's assume that once there was maturity date in place, like the 30th of November, we have arrived at, so we can clear this post-dated check transaction. So to clear that post-dated check transaction in the accounts payable only, we have under payments, vendor post-dated checks option here, this one. So once you post any post-dated checks here, you can see them in the accounts payable under payments. Beneath the payment journal, we have this vendor post-dated checks. Here under this, after 2 steps, I can see vendor post-dated checks. If I click on this, I can see a post-dated check transaction. So this is the one that we have posted, check number 96, which is posted for 1500. See the maturity date is 30th of November 2021. So if you once you receive at that point at November 30 November 2021, you can go here to settle and you can click this one, settle clearing entries, so that will be cleared. Or you can also cancel post-dated check. If you cancel it, that transaction will be reversed. Accounts payable to PDC was posted, right? So that will get reversed if you cancel the PDC. But your agenda is that you have to clear this one. So if you want to clear it, you have to clear it on the maturity date only. Suppose if I do it now, it says that operation can only be performed on checks which are posted and mature. So it's not at the maturity date yet. So we are still on 20th. So it cannot be posted for it cannot be reversed or cleared today. So let's try another check. So which one? This one I have, right? This is for 30th of September. It is matured. So I'll go to, I'm sorry, wrong click. It is again go to under post-dated checks. Select this check which was posted previously for $1,800 and matured on date 30th September 2021. I can go to settle here, click on settle clearing entries. So it will be cleared. So or else I can also check this one, click on. So this is already settled, so I don't see anything here. So this one, let me see what if this one is cleared or not. So this is also already cleared, so it is grayed out. The 900 transaction. This is also settled, but this one is not settled, so we have settled it now. So where we can see this settlement transaction or the PDC reversal transaction, clearing transaction, this transaction I have to see, right? So that you can see in the general ledger. Why? Because in the cash and bank management module here in the cash and bank management parameters under post dated checks, you gave the journal for clearing entries as normal general journal. So clearing entries are usually posted in journal only, and you gave this journal, right? So automatically it picks this journal for creation of the automatic transaction for reversal or for the clearing entry, this one. So let's see where it is cleared. If I go to general journal, general ledger, general journals, so I can see the very last journal that is created here, journal number 33. So the bigger number indicates which is, it is the latest journal. So I'm going to lines. So this should be the one. This is not the one. This is not the one. I think there is a PDC transaction already created for it somewhere. Not actually. Let me delete all of them. Okay. Let me go back to accounts payable again. Vendor post dated checks. Select this check. Sorry, this check. Settle clearing entries. Not settling anyway. Let's see the settlement. Not settled though. Journal batch number 54. Lines. Okay. What happened to check number 107? Cash and bank checks. Check number 107 was paid. Okay. It's not getting created anyway. Oh, so it should normally consider settle clearing entries. 1 second. So yeah, we have it already. It's not considering this for settlement. I'm not sure why, but normally it does considers it for settlement. So or else we also have another process actually to reverse the bridging transaction. I'll show you that. So that's normally in the general journal module only, general ledger. So if I go to general journals, I can create a new journal. Suppose I'll create a new journal called as general journal. Go to lines. Let's assume that we arrived at 30th of November where we have to clear the bridging transaction. So I just selected 30th of November. Here under functions, I think, yeah. So here I have the option select bridge transactions. This one under functions in the general ledger. If you click on select bridge transactions, you can see two bridge transactions, check number 108 and check number 111. So I'll select this check number 111, which we have posted today. Right, for $1,500 we have posted, right, for the check of PDC check. So this one I'm selecting. Let me click on accept here. So as soon as I click on accept, there is a transaction created. I'll just delete this one, previous line. So this is the line it brought in. I'll change the date to November 30. So when you see here, the PDC account that was selected earlier in the voucher is getting debited for 1500, and I see my cash account, bank account is picked here for credit purpose of 1500. So this entry, PDC account is being debited and bank account is being credited upon clearing the PDC check. So this one, upon clearing the PDC check, I can see PDC account is being debited and bank account is being credited. Then I can validate this and post it later. So posted now. Now if I see the voucher for the posted transaction, I can see bank account is being credited and PDC account is being debited. So now if I go back, so this was the entry on the 19th of November. Okay. So this is the entry on the maturity date of the check, like on 30th of November. As you can see, both of them. So what happens here is instead of bank account, initially PDC account is considered for credit, and later once on the maturity date that PDC account is cleared and bank account will come into credit again. So finally we'll see the original entry, accounts payable and bank, accounts payable as debit and bank as credit. So this will get cleared eventually upon the maturity date of the check when you clear it. So normally I showed you the first step, right, through accounts payable. Then from there only you can clear it, but it's not working. I don't know why with that check, but we can also do it in the general ledger module like we have done now. So that's how PDC works. Again, in the next class, I'll again demonstrate on PDC and see why we were unable to print it in our legal entity Reliance. So we might have to go for more comparisons maybe and check what went wrong, and accordingly we'll work on it.